This was a big departure because we are typically very controlled, sticks, dolly, locked off shots. Once we started to get into it, shoot some tests, I embraced it and I was like, this is the way to tell the story. Like, this is the only way we can do it. As far as references, all we really watched were actual body cam videos. Don't be too precious with it. It's okay if the camera's a little crooked at times. The big thing for me was I want the viewer to forget that they're kind of watching a camera. I just want them to be in the story.
Hi, this is Josh Apter from Filmmaker U, where we provide classes in the art of editing and color correction and visual effects and a lot more. We even now have an online Avid class there if you go to filmmakeru.com and check it out. But what we love to do is we love to talk to working filmmakers. And I get the honor of doing that today, talking to Clayton Moore, whose film Bodycam has been out for, what have you said, about a couple months now?
Yeah. Yep.
And just watched it, have a lot to talk about. I come from the generation where I walked out of what was that great found footage? Gosh, I can't remember the name of it. The big one, that Jersey Witch one. What was it
Blair
called?
Witch.
Blair Witch Project, of course. There we go. I ruined the interview at the first 5 minutes. I went to see that in a theater and walked out, and there were people going like, "I can't believe that was a document. Oh my God, that really happened!" And you were like, "Yeah, I knew the guy. One of the people in it was like the checkout rental guy at New York Film Academy, so I knew him. So it was blown for me,
That's
but."
funny.
It was like the granddaddy of all found footage. I mean, it's not the first, but certainly the one that sort of started a lot of these other ones going.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to get to the, sort of how you innovate on that and how you built on that style, because there's a lot of interesting techniques going on here. But first, I'm interested in how you got to filmmaking and cinematography in the first place, because that stuff isn't readily available on the internet, and I want to figure it out.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that everyone that's in this business seems to have a different pathway to where, how they got to where they are and how they got started. And so, my story is just as simple as growing up with movies that I loved. A lot of Spielberg, a lot of Lucas, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, all that stuff.
Hmm.
Just those great, fun adventure movies from the 80s and into the early 90s. Um, and so when I originally was going to go to college to do post production, compositing and visual effects is what I wanted to do, but I didn't. I found out quickly that I didn't like sitting in front of a computer all day in a dark room, and so I moved back home after college, and my uncle worked at a TV station doing news, and he got me a job there. So I started out as the weekend photojournalist for an NBC affiliate in Billings, Montana, and
Okay.
not a huge breaking news town, but in a sense that was good because what we'd have to do every weekend is find human interest stories. And
Hmm.
so that kind of really put the kind of the documentary journalistic bug in me, and it taught me on the job like sequencing, shot selection, because I'd have to edit these as well. So,
Oh,
I'd have to go out, get all my shots, get my sound and everything, and then come back and edit and make the deadline for the news that night. And so it was really a trial by fire. And I mean, I would recommend that to anyone trying to learn storytelling and because you learn the storytelling side of it, you learn the journalism side of it, you learn the technical side of it, and you're doing it. And so
yeah.
yeah, that was a
And
good
it's
trial
real.
by
That's the
fire.
thing. Like,
Oh yeah,
if it
yeah,
doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And
yeah,
that's, I mean,
exactly.
there have been people who also, I know friends who said, like, even shooting weddings is really good training because you
Sure.
can't ask them to, hey, we missed his vows or her,
Yeah,
like, you can't do it. It's, you
have to
get it or you
nail it.
don't.
Yeah.
And it's something that's very important to someone else. So there's that added pressure to sort of understand how am I going to tell a story out of this or what's unique about this. Um, yeah, it's weird. You say this, and every time we talk to someone, editor, cinematographer, you name it, they're sort of 3,000 hours, right, of
Yeah.
Malcolm Gladwelling their way into being an expert is
Yeah.
that's something that they've done where it's like this was my training ground, and I did it for 2 years all day, every day, and I just got really fast and confident and good. What camera were you shooting on in Billings, Montana?
Oh man, it was some Sony or Panasonic, but it was uh DVC tapes. Yeah.
Okay.
So then, yeah, and then yeah, I went through the whole analog to digital changeover. It was actually really
Mhm.
cool because I got to learn all the analog stuff and then got to kind of upgrade everything to digital. And I was a student of that along the way, whether that was good or bad, because there was a lot of growing pains with that as well. But
Sure.
yeah, we were shooting on DVC tapes, and then I got another news job in Las Vegas, and that's what got me to Las Vegas. And I was only there for a couple years, and I went over to a production company, and then we were getting more into like Beta SP and Mini DV and HD Cam, and
Hmm.
we had some of the first Sony cameras that shot on the discs. Um, and then of course, we started getting into the SSD stuff, like the 5D and everything once that came around.
It is a great time to have. So we're probably not that far apart in age. You know, shooting like sort of making content or whatever you want to call it through that period and working your way
Yeah,
from film to early like video was horrible. I mean, really like just the worst of the
yeah,
worst. But I do remember like you'd shoot on those short little 20-minute beta tapes because if you lost a tape, you only
right.
lost 20 minutes. And now you're shooting on these cards that can take a day's worth of, and someone loses a card, they lose a
Yeah,
day. And it's like there was a lot of that. But then the trade-off being like, wait, you can shoot video on this Nikon DSLR by flipping the switch and it's got the shallow depth of, like it looks like, I mean, it was like the
it was
whole
crazy.
world just
Yeah.
changed in like that 2 year period.
But I think there's good parts of it too because it taught us the headaches of analog,
Hmm.
but we were able to take some of those techniques over to digital. It's like, so I won't use a huge memory card. I like to use a smaller one because, like you said, if you lose it,
Hmm.
you're not going to lose the entire day. You just might lose an hour or two.
Right. Have
So
you ever
there,
lost an
there's
hour or two?
little,
Has
yeah,
that
there's
ever happened?
little things like that where you kind of bring it over with you, which I feel lucky and glad that I had that experience. You
Well, I
know,
would also imagine being an editor, that teaches you a discipline that you can use as a DP, which is like, do I
absolutely,
have it? Right? Like,
absolutely,
and
yeah,
that's something like that's a hugely valuable, unless you're gonna have an editor on set or
yeah,
location, to having that mentality. I mean, directors obviously are contributing to
yeah,
part of that, but like a new time first director or something, they may not know. And instead of just hosing it down and getting more, just wasting, footage and shooting time, it's like, no, I got it. Like, I know,
yeah.
I'm confident you can keep yourself in and out of
Yeah.
this.
And usually if you're lucky, the good ones, like the good first timers will lean on you as a cinematographer a lot to help them out if they're willing
Mhm.
to take your help,
Yeah. Well,
which,
that's,
then you start dealing with ego and stuff.
yeah, there's a great story
Yeah.
about Mel Brooks being so afraid that he didn't know anything, that he was the biggest asshole on
Right.
set because he
Sure.
didn't want to come off as an amateur, and that really hurt
Sure.
him. You were looking at a production company in Vegas, and then how did you go to shooting features and short films and features and that sort of, fiction stuff?
Yeah, so I went from the news station to the production company, and then that was, right around 2008, and I got laid off. And I said, okay, well, I'm freelance now, which is probably the worst time in the world to be freelance, but
Hmm.
I struggled my way through it. And I actually, work was really slow. And so I decided I'm going to go back to school. And so that's when I went back to film school. Because up until that point, I had in my mind, I was still very young, but in my mind, I had the technical stuff figured out. But what I was still seeking was the why. I
Hmm.
wanted to learn the theory of behind choices that were made. And because I was always into that stuff. And some of my first film school moments, I would say, was when I would buy, DVDs, and I would only look for the ones that had like director's commentaries or cinematographer commentaries on them, because that
Hmm.
was like that was such invaluable information, especially at the time. I mean, we're in the early internet period. Movies, DVDs are just coming out where you can like go frame by frame and you're not like dealing with the tracking lines on VHS tapes. Um, but yeah, I was basically became freelance as a trial by fire. I went back to film school. That's where I met a lot of my core collaborators and just started creating short films and stuff from there. And
Hmm.
the economy finally started to get better, and that was right around when I was starting to graduate from school, and I actually got too busy with work where I kind of dropped out of school for a bit, and I eventually returned and graduated. But I'm just
Hmm.
very happy to say that I did complete that.
Was
Um,
this in Los Angeles?
this was in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
I've never lived in Los Angeles. For a while I wanted to, and then the more time I spent out there, the more I realized that it just wasn't for me.
Hmm.
It's too busy, too crazy. Um, yeah, I've done very well for myself in Vegas, and no need to really shake that up at all.
All right, and all your DVDs are in Vegas. So what are you
All
gonna
my movies are here, so I can't leave these.
I did an interview yesterday with the crew from Pluribus, the editing crew.
Mm,
And one of the guys is also the guy who does the podcast, the post show. He did it for Breaking Bad and all those, and he now does one called, I think it's called Commentarily Legal. And
okay.
and it's basically a podcast about DVD commentaries.
Oh, cool.
It's super cool. They
Wow.
just did, I think their first one was, they just did The Limey, which is one of my favorite movies
Mhm.
from an editor's perspective of all time. But they did Usual Suspects, and I think they just did one. It was a movie where Trey Parker and the rest of the crew get so drunk during the commentary that they start talking about what they're going to do later, and it goes completely off the rails. But like
Hey.
they're in it to learn about filmmaking too, but they're just ones that
Sure.
are so bizarre.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because in the Limey, Steven Soderbergh and Lem Dobbs get into a fight on the commentary.
No
Not,
way.
not like a fist fight, but like they
Yeah,
get into
yeah.
a real argument about the adaptation of the material
Oh, I gotta see
and
that one.
something that got dropped that shouldn't. And Dobbs is really like, adamant about it, and Soderbergh's like, da, 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 da. Like no, and I had listened, because I'm a fan of the movie. I actually had listened to that commentary and I loved it. So it was funny that he just happened. He's had like 5 episodes total.
That's
They just
amazing.
started it. But
I'm
no,
gonna
they
check
they
it
are
out.
a great resource, and that's
Yeah.
probably a decent reason to have physical media is because they're not really a
Hmm.
thing. Now you get like these sort of promotional podcasts after shows, but that's
Right.
not really the same thing. It's
Well, it's nice too that the on a physical disc it's there with the movie. It's bundled, like
Mhm.
it's one thing that like yeah, there's a bunch of stuff out there on the internet, but it's like you got to go looking for it.
Right.
This is
Well,
like I grab a Criterion thing off the shelf and it's all just right there,
sure.
which is really handy
Yeah,
to
I'm going
keep
to ask you
everything.
to pull like your desert island DVDs at some point, but I want to talk about Bodycam because that's why we're here.
Oh
Um,
yeah, body
yeah,
cam.
right, right.
The
But
little
you,
movie we did.
nice. But you were working with, so you said you did 4 films with Brandon Christensen.
Yep.
How did you guys met at film school then?
We actually didn't meet at film school, but we did meet in Vegas during my film school time. I was freelancing for a different production company, and he was working there as like an in-house director,
Hmm.
and so that's how we met. They hired me to do some projects for them, and I got teamed up with Brandon on some of those, and then
Hmm.
we just we hit it off really well. And the first project we did together was a short film he was doing and came in on the weekend and helped him out with that. And we just been buddies ever since.
Well, that's great to have like and he's an editor too, right? He edits all the movies.
Oh, he's a producer, director, writer, editor, VFX. PA sometimes.
Uh,
Indie films, you got to do a little bit of everything.
Tell me a little bit about like, this decision to, sort of live in that space.
I think it's just a thing where, horror is a fun genre where you can, there's not really any rules. Even if you are within the genre, there's always a chance to push the rules, bend the rules, break the rules even. And so I think that's why horror has just been so successful for us is that, it's just an easy genre to kind of get into. And then once you kind of the thing with horror fans too is they're very loyal. So once you get fans of your work,
Hmm.
they're just really eager to see what you do next.
That's the thing. How do you scale that? You make one, a group of people see it. Now they're interested in more. They're not going to pay you to make it. You didn't crowdsource any of these films. You were able to find companies that said, look, there's something here. Let's see what you do next.
Yeah, basically, I mean, I can't speak to specifics because I honestly don't deal with that part of it, but Brandon does a lot of the fundraising, and I know that he has a very good relationship with Shutter, and they seem like they're just always eager to see what we have next for them.
Oh,
and
that's good.
and they've been a great partner for showcasing our movies, and they've done
Mhm.
some physical releases for us. So now I have some of my own commentaries on
Do you
DVD.
do commentaries on your own DVDs?
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of a full circle moment for me, and I'm very proud of that, and that's very cool.
Mhm. Well, so then working with Brandon, how did you grow as a cinematographer in that collaboration? Because you're saying Bodycam's a big departure,
Yeah.
but these other movies came first, like, in terms of communication with the director, expressing like the why aspect of things. Like, how did that develop over the first films that you guys made?
It's just getting the reps in. It's getting the time in together. And then every time we do another project, it's just we sharpen our pencils a little bit more. And it's just time. But even going back to our first film together, Superhost, um, I still watch that movie and enjoy every bit of it, and I still see some of the work we did together on that, and I'm very impressed for where we were at in our careers at that time, and I think it still holds up to this day. But I will say that like every time we do another one, it feels like we just level up each time.
I've seen other people's work. It's like there are things that are themes in your work that emerge,
Yeah.
a style that you inherently have, and it's not a crutch that you keep leaning on, but it's something that it's like, oh, this is part of how I do my work, and
Hmm.
it's different in different contexts. But it's like there's something, a sort of platform or a foundation of who you are as an artist that sort of comes through in everything you do.
Yeah, I mean, and we watch before we shoot something, we'll watch a lot of movies together, things that will inspire us and things that we like stylistically or visually for our current project. We end up watching a lot of Fincher stuff.
Hmm.
Um, I'm a big fan of Roger Deakins. I mean, who isn't?
Yeah, right.
But I try to approach my lighting and stuff. It's always what would Roger do, but I usually have about a 1/100th of the budget that he does. So
Right.
it's, but that, it's funny because that goes back to my news days or my production company days when you're always trying to do more with less. And
Hmm.
so that's something me and Brandon have always gotten compliments on too, is that our movies look and feel way bigger than they should. And so
Well,
that's
then
a
you make
little,
a decision with this one to basically make something that isn't concerned with looking more than it is because the conceit is that it's a found footage film shot on police body cameras, which I
Mhm.
don't know what resolution they're natively shooting at, but it can't be more than 1080, right? I mean,
Some
who
of them,
knows?
yeah. Some of them.
Um,
I
so
think, yeah, I think they have some 4K now, but
yeah,
regardless.
I mean, so this is the new idea. And it's like, all right, well, we're not going to try to make this look like a Fincher film in
Mhm.
that sense. What are some of the rules that you laid for each other, and what are the movies that you watched when you were preparing?
Yeah, I mean, in that sense, it was a big departure for us because we are typically very controlled sticks, dolly, you know, um, locked off shots. So this was a big departure in that regard. I embraced it. I was a little apprehensive at first, but once we started to get into it, shoot some tests and stuff, I embraced it and I was like, this is the way to tell the story. Like this is the only way we can do it.
Hmm.
As far as references, all we'd really watched were actual body cam videos. Since that's what we're trying to replicate.
Hmm.
We really wanted to look at those, and just some of the things we took from those were like, don't be too precious with it. Um, it's okay if the camera's a little crooked at times, like because these guys just put them on themselves, so they're
Hmm.
not always gonna make sure they're level. It's just part of their uniform. They got to put it on, and so if it's a little crooked, it's fine. But yeah, I didn't want to get too precious with it. We only had 12 days to shoot, so the big thing for me was like, I want the viewer to forget that they're kind of watching a camera. I just want them to be in the story, despite the fact that we are choosing to shoot in this format.
Hmm.
Um, and I think we were successful with that. And I just never wanted anyone to be waiting on me or the camera rig. That
Well,
was
was there one rig, or was it like,
it
because
was
that was the
one.
big question, is like, did you let the actors act as camera operators at some points? Were you faking it? Is that ever your arm, like Jackson's gold chain on your wrist because you wanted to shoot the shot? Like there's ways to do it. And if you're like, no, 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 I want it to be the actor's experience because that'll be more authentic, that's one. Or you're like, no, 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 I'm shooting all of this stuff and we're gonna flip around and do setups. Like, what was your guys' decision on that?
We talked about that early on, if I would wear the camera or if the actors would do it. And we always thought from day one that it would be best if the actors could just do the thing and wear it. So we did shoot single camera. Early on, I'm going to show you. Early on, we had planned to actually have we shot on GoPro. And
Uh-huh.
so early on, we had planned to have the GoPros inside these housings to look like
Hmm.
a body cam. But I mean, as you can see, they're huge.
That's big, yeah.
And literally like a day before we started shooting, we got these 3D prints back and figured out they wouldn't work. They're just too bulky. So at that point, we decided to shoot single camera, and the actors would take turns wearing the camera. And so we would just shoot
Okay.
each scene, twice, two different angles until we got it. And that worked out better for us because it kind of, despite the fact that the camera was, untethered and everything, it still just gave us that one singular lens to look through it per take.
Yeah.
So that made it easier, and it was a lot easier on the actors because we could block and light for like one angle at a time.
Hmm. I
I
mean,
can't
that's the thing. You talk about lighting.
yeah,
It's like a flashlight
yeah,
for a
it's
decent chunk of
basically.
this. Are you faking that and bringing in more light, or is it just basically because the GoPro is so light sensitive? Are you just sort of using practicals the whole time?
There was a few times when we would supplement with practicals, or we would supplement with like bringing a little bit of a bounce in or something, and like, hey, hit the bounce with the flashlight. So if we
Hmm.
needed to do a very specific thing, we would arrange that. But more often than not, it was like, okay, you're just gonna light the scene with your flashlight. Don't like blind it in his eyes, but just a
Hmm.
little bit below, just so you can kind of use the edge of the beam,
Hmm.
get a nice little bit of a fall off. And so big credit to the actors. Like they not only were they like in their scene, in their characters, but they were also like having to aim their bodies a certain way, make sure the lights were in the right position. So they had a lot more on their plate. Um,
Sure.
but they totally embraced it and they were
Mhm.
fully on board.
I'm sure I mean, on some level, the right actors, it's like a dream. It's such a blast to
Yeah.
be that involved in sort of the making of it instead of just like hit
Yeah.
that mark, just being treated like, not saying they're all cattle, but sometimes it's like, but getting them more involved and excite them more, right?
Oh,
Um,
exactly.
so no body cam that you saw anyone wearing was rolling, was actually shooting anything. That was a prop.
Right. Anyone that you saw was a real body cam, but it wasn't recording.
Wasn't recording. Okay.
The
So,
whole movie was on the GoPros. Yeah.
and you had two through dash cams, one
Yep.
inside pointing at them, one pointing out. You
Yep.
had Bryce's camera, Jackson's camera, and that's really all you're allowed to have, right? I
Uh,
mean, in terms of the language, that's it. And it's funny, you went to the camera, you went to the car. So the big part of this that I think, and this may be more of an editorial conversation, is like, who edited this found footage film?
Yeah.
When was this footage recovered? Before or
Yeah.
after the monster ate everybody? It's like, it's the impossible questions that make this more fun are just impossible questions. But
Someone found it. I don't know.
yeah, some editor
Someone
found
found
it,
it.
right?
Yeah. Like, oh, I
Um,
should cut this together and make a movie.
Yeah. And the idea that, because I really love the edit, is one of my favorite in the movie, is like I'm sorry, he's on the roof and I don't want to spoil
Yeah.
for anybody, but he goes and then you cut for a nice long beat to like, and you kind of know it's coming,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
nothing really prepares you for like, bam. And it's just like great use of like
Yeah.
the limited syntax that you guys are giving yourselves. It's like the perfect, use, it's sort of like full
That's
circle use of that shot.
just how convenient that he parked right there.
I just wrote that. I'm like, wow, great parking spot,
Wow.
man. Like,
That
well,
paid off.
I didn't examine it too much for that kind of like, you
Right.
can't,
Right.
like, what are
It's a
you,
movie. Come on.
right? You're
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
you're doing the wrong thing if you're like picking
Yeah.
it apart, because that's not going to happen. But I was impressed at how much information you conveyed about his sister without explaining it with a
Mm,
lot of expository dialogue or anything. There's really nothing. He picks up the picture in the house, and
sure.
it's important, and you don't quite know why, and then it's like it unfolds, which I think is to the movie's credit. It doesn't explain a lot. It's a svelte 75-minute experience, right? I mean, it's really like
Yeah. That's a
kind of
quick one. Yeah.
it is. But it was just interesting to see how you work with handheld camera
Hmm.
and low light situations. It seemed to, oddly, after the roof, when he's driving and the house keeps appearing, it seemed like the quality of the footage improved. And I think maybe that's just in
Oh.
my brain. When he puts it down on the seat, he takes it off, and
Yeah.
I'm looking at him sort of from the very stable seatbelt rig or
Right. Right.
whatever.
Seatbelt cam.
But it's for some reason it seemed like it settled. It got higher resolution. I mean, it couldn't have, but it seemed like it did.
It might have. We did shoot a lot of that on a stage. Uh,
Okay.
so yeah, something that we were very fortunate to be able to do was shoot a lot of that sequence on a virtual stage. So we
That's
brought,
why the light flickers and all the
yeah,
house. So you
yeah,
basically game engined in all of that stuff.
yeah, yeah. So that was all on an LED wall behind him. We brought the car in, we set it up, and it was really trippy to see because it was like my first time working on a virtual stage, but the car's just sitting there, but the background is just so
Mm-hmm.
if you just look at the monitor, you're like, oh my God, he's moving. But then you
Mm-hmm.
look up and the car's just parked there, and you're like, oh,
It's a nice illusion.
it is. Yeah, it worked out great. It was exactly what we needed for that scene
I
because,
thought Brandon, because I think he has a VFX background too,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I was just like, man, that guy went to town with the
Oh, yeah,
house lights playing as the street lights, and
yeah.
but that's even better that you were able to basically just build it.
It made our lives a lot easier, and that I mean that was honestly the only way we'd be able to do it.
Is that so? I don't want you to tell me numbers wise, but like for a film this size, was that a giant piece of the budget to work on a volume?
Yeah, I mean I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm sure it was, and
Hmm.
that's also part of the reason that the movie took like 2.5 years to get out because we shot this back in 2023. And the big part of waiting for it to come out was finishing up all those VFX, that sequence specifically.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It has like a little tiny echo of this 2001: A Space Odyssey finale,
Sure, yeah,
right?
sure,
Like,
sure.
I don't know how conscious of this anybody is. It's just like when you pick it up, it's sort of, you feel it, and in the space of time when it happens in the movie too,
Right.
because it is this like everything's just completely going bonkers. I feel so
Yeah.
bad for Jackson. He doesn't deserve it. Well, Bryce does because
A little
he's,
bit, yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's got his own demons, but
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. Speaking of which, I'll call the thing the demon. That was completely. So who built that?
That was built by our VFX company. Um I apologize, their name escapes me, but because that was a big Brandon thing. He was working very closely with them. Um
Hmm.
I didn't have much interaction with them, but they crushed it. I think they, from my recollection, they were just getting started out, and so this was one of their like first. projects, and it was kind of a groundbreaking project for them and their
Yeah.
company. Yeah, and they did a great job.
So what did you do when you were shooting physically? You just had it blocked off, or you had something there so that
Oh,
you knew where to look?
we had an actor, a very tall, skinny actor. He was playing as the underman.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I mean, God, we could have used just him but we
Really?
wanted we wanted to heighten, like I talk about leveling up. We wanted to
Hmm.
level it up a bit and not just have like a person
Hmm.
as creepy as he was, because he could like pop his joints out of socket and stuff. It
Yeah.
was rad. Um, and he was just like kind of wearing like a little diaper thing, and it was creepy. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, someday we should show the behind the scenes and show his performance, so it doesn't get lost.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, you
yeah,
make it.
it was nice for the actors because they could obviously have someone to look at,
Hmm.
knowing that it would be even more outrageous in the final cut.
Right. Were they having a blast like that room where she's giving birth and they're
Dude,
all looking at the
yeah,
ceiling? That must have been so much like that's the thing about some of these is like
yeah,
it's fun. It's like it's not I don't want to say it's like it doesn't take itself too seriously. I'm sure you take it very seriously on many levels, but you're also
sometimes,
having fun in your 12 days of hustling,
yeah.
right? I mean, you're really moving fast. So,
That's a big thing for me and Brandon. We like to have fun. At the end of the day, it's a business. It's a big, there's a lot of money on the line. Like we do have to deliver a product, but it's like if you're not having fun, like what's the point? So we just
mhm,
love to have just a lighthearted, fun set. That's why I love working with him.
mhm,
We just get the best of the best people we can find, and it's like let's go make a movie. We're living our
mhm.
dreams. We're
No,
making.
I know that's great.
So
Like that's,
yeah,
and look, more power to you. You make
yeah.
more, bigger, better, different ideas.
I am Chad Anderson with Manhattan Edit Workshop, and I am thrilled to introduce you to an introduction to Avid Media Composer. We'll cover all the basics from setting up the software and importing footage to editing, trimming, effects, audio, titles, media management, and everything in between. You'll have access to over 7 hours of self-paced lessons delivered in easy to understand segments, all with professional footage that you can download to work along with. And when you're finished with the course, you can use it to keep working or edit something of your own. We're also happy to offer live online office hours that anyone can schedule with me, so we can work out a tricky problem, review concepts, or even have a creative session to evaluate your edit. MuseShop's online introduction to Avid Media Composer is the perfect way to get a hands-on, in-person training experience in a self-paced, on-demand package. I'm Chad Anderson, and I can't wait to help you master Avid Media Composer.
I had a couple specific questions. I don't
Yeah.
want to go too long. I respect your time here. There's a couple things where the camera goes to like night vision, black and white. I
Hmm.
believe it stops being a color thing. And so intention behind that decision, you guys are talking at these moments that's going to happen because you are making it happen. So what's the decision making behind that if there's a rule, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was really just to be used as a dramatic effect to when we wanted to maybe heighten up the tension a little bit. And because obviously, like a night vision look is such a different, stark contrast to what we've been seeing the rest of the movie. And so, funny enough, like we were mentioning cameras, one of those body cameras we had shot night vision like that. So that was actually recorded on one of those little
Oh,
guys.
uh-huh.
So we just used it wasn't a filter or anything. We just used it straight how the camera shot it, and
Hmm.
we were just testing it one day, a couple days before the movie, and we're like, oh, this looks cool. This is creepy. Uh,
Hmm.
and so obviously our gears start turning in our heads, like, oh, how can we implement this night vision look to like heighten the tension in some scenes? And so that it was maybe a happy accident that we discovered it, but we took that information and used it to heighten the movie overall.
Right. Something happens and it is
Right.
scarier because
Yeah.
it's funny because you expect it to be green,
Hmm.
right? Silence of the Lambs sort of tells every movie after it that night vision's
Yeah.
green and you've seen it so much, but it's not, the camera didn't shoot that way. It just was
Yeah.
mono.
Just black
Um,
and white and kind of like an inversed look.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's probably great for the VFX because it makes it probably easier to build in an environment like that because it's murky and dark and
I would imagine you could hide a lot of things in the lower quality of the
yeah.
footage, you know.
This VFX house that's just starting out on this movie. It's
You're
just
just like, gee,
psyched.
thanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's also pixelation is heavily used, and that's probably not a camera question because you didn't force pixelate. That's an editorial flourish.
Yeah, that would have been added in post as little glitches or whatnot.
Mhm. Did
Um,
you guys discuss that beforehand, or was that something where you're like watching it like, oh, I guess there's pixelation?
yeah, I mean, we to an extent we discussed whether it was gonna be like, well, for example, you see at the beginning of the movie they have like the time code and everything
On the
on screen,
dash? Yeah, yeah.
right? And so that was part of something we did to establish like, okay, we're watching body cameras. But then I don't know if you noticed or not, hopefully you did. When
Mhm.
they go into that house, it changes and the time code
Mhm.
goes away,
Yep.
the quality gets better, and the big thing is the audio gets better. Because right
Mhm.
off the bat, it's the audio's a little tinny, it sounds very hollow. But once he
Mhm.
knocks that door down, it's like you get all the bass coming in, the surround sound, and the picture quality kind of comes up a bit. You kind of lose the pixelation.
No, you get absorbed. Well, you're trying to establish the reality of it.
Yeah.
My screener was subtitled at that part too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't find any controls to get rid of it, but it stopped when they went in. So
Yes.
maybe
Okay. Yes. 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 That was part of it as well. That was
yeah, it's
part
sort
of
of
it as
like a
well.
cops episode where it's like you can hear them, they're speaking English, but like sometimes you subtitle it anyway just to make sure
Yes.
everybody's following along.
Right. Right.
No, that helped ground you in it, but then there were definitely times where you're just in it, like which is what
Yeah.
you want. You're just like watching a
Yeah.
movie and totally. I mean, I feel like some of that is the magic of editing, right? Because you can create the impossible
Sure.
sort of cut down scenario of like how you would, but this is an impossible situation anyway with
Yeah.
monsters and demons and
Yeah.
you know I don't know if she's a ghost hunter, his mom, but there's like it's that's what makes it kind of fun, right?
Mhm.
Um, well, is there? I mean, I guess what's your takeaway? You guys working on another one yet, or are you waiting to see how this one
Always.
goes?
Always, man. Brandon writes with his brother, and they are like a dynamic duo. They can crank out a script in, a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
So I know for sure Brandon has about three or four different scripts for us that are out into the universe right now.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to hope one of them lands, and we will shoot that next. And then I have a couple projects I'm working with some other directors with, trying to get some fundraising going. I would shoot those up in Oregon probably. Um, so you always got like 20 irons in the fire, and you hope one of them comes out.
Well, it
You
sounds
know?
like it seems like this is a pretty you know tried and tested, reliable trajectory for you
Yeah,
guys. It's
yeah.
so I'm gonna have to go back in the catalog
You
and
should.
and
Yeah,
watch
you
the other
should.
ones. Yeah, no,
You
I want to
should.
see because I'm not gonna say I want to see how your style devolves into body cam, but I want to see how I want to see the very first collaboration
Yeah.
definitely, and then
And
sort of see.
it's funny you'll see too, because all the movies me and Brandon have done together, there is sort of a found footage element to some of them, or to
Hmm.
each of them. Whether it's like Superhost, there's security cameras,
Hmm.
Puppet Man, there's like cell phone videos. So you'll pick up on some of those little things, I think.
You're no second body cam movie in the
No,
works or not that you
you
know
know
of?
what? Maybe there is. I don't know if I'm at liberty to say anything right now, but maybe we'll surprise you.
Bodycam 2, The Rise. It's
Ooh,
possible. You can never know.
you never
Um,
know.
well, what I want before I let you go, I would love to see a couple of these cherished
Oh man.
DVDs behind you. The ones that are facing out, I would imagine, are the ones that are, you know, the desert island ones, right?
Yeah, it's in a complete state of disarray. I usually have them so organized alphabetically. I mean, what do you want to see?
No, no, I'm just saying, like one of your favorites. Like, what's a rare, I can't believe I got this one, or I
Oh
watch this one
man.
every before I make every movie.
Oh, man, you put me on the spot.
That's my job.
putting me on the spot here.
I'll find one if you find one. I'm going to look at
Have
my
you ever
DVD.
seen, actually, yeah, have you ever seen this movie?
No.
This is one of the most incredible films I've ever seen. I saw it at Sundance one year, and it looks like it was from 2009.
Uh-huh.
Um, this is a beautiful film. It's a love story, very non-traditional love story, but just gorgeous. I'm every time I watch this, I'm crying, bawling my eyes out at the end of it, and
Um,
so almost hesitant to watch it sometimes, but
wow, really?
it's
Okay.
stunning. Yeah. It's stunning.
I'm writing it down right now.
It's called Me Too, originally Yo Tambien.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And you said it's like 2000 what?
2009.
All right. I love that we're giving a shout out to people watching this to go and watch that. But I think
Absolutely.
you want people to watch Bodycam also. So, it's
Absolutely.
available wherever movies are streamed. And you said this is also on a DVD, right?
Well, Bodycam's not on a physical release yet, but Bodycam, along with our other movies, are all on Shudder
Hmm.
exclusively right now.
Okay.
So we have Superhost, Night of the Reaper, The Puppet Man, and Bodycam all on Shudder. Brandon has two other films on Shudder as well. I think he's the most Shudderfied director out there right now. I think he has 6 movies on there.
Wow. His box set
Um,
is imminent.
uh, Never say never.
No, why not, right?
Might
Well,
happen.
that's great. Well, look, thank you so much for geeking out on
Yeah, of
Star Wars
course.
and DVDs and
Yeah,
physical media and the importance of it. We'll also, because we both have our Mandalorian, our
that's
Boba
right,
Fett
man. That's
props,
right.
and this was not planned, everybody out
No,
there watching.
no, it wasn't.
I don't think you could plan that,
No,
actually.
no.
No. So, really appreciate it. And you guys will obviously be making more.
Oh
And I
yeah,
hope you come back and talk about that. Maybe we can have a group discussion too. We've actually done that before. We've talked to like DP, editor, director, like the whole team.
that'd be
And
cool. Yeah,
yeah, getting the sort of different perspectives is also really fun. But this
yeah.
is fun too, just us
This is
bullshit.
great. The only thing I'd be hesitant about that is Brandon would sound very much more smarter than I would.
Well, we'll try not to sound any more dumber on purpose. But look, I'm sure it'd be a fun conversation to have,
Yeah,
as this one was. So thanks again for your time. Yeah.
absolutely. Maybe you go watch all of our movies and then we could do like a retrospective.
Retrospective. All
Yeah,
right. Well, if they're all about this length, I can bang them out in a
yeah,
couple of
man.
days.
Yeah. But
All right.
yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much, Clayton. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
All right. You too. Take care.